Being a kid growing up in the late 80s and early 90s, Capcom released a string of quality licensed games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. From Chip and Dale, DuckTales, and Darkwing Duck, The Little Mermaid is no exception with its colorful graphics, fluid controls, and great soundtrack. Today you'll learn the tips and tricks in order to beat The Little Mermaid on this episode of Helping You Beat Video Games. The Little Mermaid does a good job of being non-violent. I have to give Capcom credit for going after more of a younger, niche audience. They've done a great job here in producing a solid game. As you make your way through the final boss Ursula, you'll encounter many varieties of fish, bosses, and obstacles that come your way. Electronic Gaming Monthly gave The Little Mermaid positive reviews back in 1991. Ariel can swim in 4 directions. You can hold the B button on the D-pad to speed up while swimming. This comes in very handy when avoiding some of the enemies that spawn on screen. Ariel's main form of attack will feature her swishing her tail and causing the enemies to be in a bubble by pressing the A button. Typically it takes 2 hits to put the enemies in a bubble. Ariel can also fire enemies in a bubble or shells by pressing the direction you wish to shoot plus the A button. You can also fire the bubbles or shells in upward diagonal directions. Ariel can also hop up on land by pressing the A button and up on the D-pad. When on land, press the A button to hop. Picking up the red pearl power-up allows most enemies to be caught in one tail swish. With 2 pearls, you can catch even the biggest gulpers and push small stones. When you get 3 pearls, the enemies you snake sink quickly. This lets you grab the bubbles faster, and you can also move the largest rocks. Picking up the green pearl power-up allows your bubbles to travel further with each green pearl you find. Both pearl power-ups can be found by knocking a shell into one of the sunken treasure chests scattered throughout each level. Shells are very useful for protection, so hang on to them as long as possible. You can also use them to swim faster and avoid some of the enemy spawns or run through enemies without taking damage. The Little Mermaid has 5 stages for you to play through. We'll be getting into them now. On to stage 1, the Sea of Coral. We're going to pick up the seashell here, and we're going to make our way through to the sunken treasure chest. Picking up the red pearl power-up, let's hit this enemy here, and use it to attack the other enemy. Navigate through the top avoiding the enemy placement, and exiting the first section of the stage. You want to be careful here, and you want to pick up the shell power-up. Use it to pick up the green pearl power-up by alternating from left to right, and exiting the stage at the top. Now we want to pick up the second shell here and navigate through the top, right where the barrier of the blue and light blue meet. This will let you avoid any enemies that come your way. Stay along the top, and you'll avoid the fish that comes your way. The stage 1 boss, the shark, takes 4 hits to finish off. The enemies will spawn on the same side as the boss, first the right side, then the left side, repeating as many times as it takes for you to finish the boss. If you stand along the line where I'm standing, you should be able to get the starting fish in a bubble in order to shoot at the shark. Sometimes the fish won't spawn, or the shark will be on the lower part of the screen. Just be patient and keep sticking to the pattern. Once you finish the first stage boss, pick up the vase and complete the stage. The first stage of The Little Mermaid is now complete. On to stage 2 of The Little Mermaid, the sunken ship. Here we're going to swim along, holding B to charge. Take the top route, avoid the ghost enemy here just by hanging out. You're going to approach an enemy here, and you're going to get it into your bubble. So here you're going to go from left to right. You can pick up the one up there, but it's really not necessary. Be careful here navigating through the octopus. And make your way to the right hand side. So here you want to hit this enemy, and ram it into the next one. Here the spike enemy will fall down. You want to just hover right over here just to avoid the spike, and navigate down, and to the right, and exit towards the right. Now here you're going to go for the shell, you're going to hit the bottom, and just run right, and you're going to avoid any enemy attacks. Now as we make our way through the stage 2 boss, Ursula's 2 eel henchmen, each of them will hide behind numerous holes and pop out their heads, allowing you to knock them with a bubble, or they might even swim in the direction that they're facing to respawn in a different area. The safe spot here is at the bottom of the screen, except for the fact that these crabs can walk towards you and make you take damage. You can only catch the crabs in a bubble once they begin walking. Try to avoid getting between the two crabs as they'll walk towards you in both directions. The eels take a total of 6 hits between them to finish the boss. You're almost halfway through the Little Mermaid. Great job! On to stage 3, the Sea of Ice. So immediately you're going to start off by holding the B button to charge. Stay along the top hand portion of the screen, avoid this block of ice. And this fish here, you can kind of dodge him. So again, you can shoot this one. You don't want to go down here, it's not necessary. Shoot the enemies. Here you want to press up and A to land on the water. This is the first time we've used this mechanic. And you want to press A constantly to get the shell into the water. Pick up the shell. And you can either charge at that enemy or you can avoid it. So you want to take the top route here, land on the water, and navigate through the top, go down and to the right. So be careful with the last fish here, it's going to try to charge at you. Just avoid it and head to the right. And you want to take the top route here again, avoiding any fish that are below you, and on to the walrus boss. The walrus boss will throw blocks of fish or 2 shells. You want to stay at the top of the current but don't jump up. Avoid the blocks, but pick up the seashells and stand about here. Then press up and the A button together to launch the seashells at the walrus. The walrus will start on the right hand side, finish his drops, and then navigate towards the left hand side. Repeat the process and you'll be out in no time. After 4 hits, the walrus is down. You're really getting the hang of the Little Mermaid. On to stage 4, the Undersea Volcano. Here you want to stay at the top of the screen to avoid the volcano eruptions that arise. There's also going to be a shrimp here that you want to avoid, so be careful. More shrimp are back in action here. Go from left to right, back to left, and finally with the last one that'll appear on the right hand side. Here the volcano will come from above you, so position yourself like so, or run right through, pick up the shell, and just avoid any enemy attacks. More shrimp are on the loose, so go from left to right, back to left, back to right, and exit the screen. Here you want to go all the way up, avoiding the starfish, and back down. And as we make it through, to the seahorse boss. The seahorse will fire 2 random enemies from the cannon. You'll want to avoid the spikes and focus on the fish. Position Ariel where we have her here and fire away as you see the cannons shoot. If you get too close, you might take a hit. After 5 hits, the seahorse will be down and you're off to stand off against Ursula. You've almost beat the Little Mermaid. On to stage 5, Ursula's castle. Head towards the right and you're going to enter this warp tunnel by pressing the A button. Now keep going right, pick up the shell here, and you're going to enter in 4 more times. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now when you're at this screen, this is where you want to be. So you're going to stay towards the top, navigate to the land and back into the water, back onto the land, and keep repeating this process until you reach the end here. And you're going to go back down and to the right. Make sure that you avoid the enemy fire here. Stay low, and then just proceed up when it's safe. Now make your way towards the right. Here you can avoid these fish by just going above them or slightly below them. Enter by pressing A. So here you can stay below this fish, and there's going to be another one here. You can stay below him and just enter by pressing A. Go right through, and now we head to the final boss, Ursula. Ursula will launch a variety of different enemies at you. You want to aim for her head as you launch the bubbles her way. Avoid the fish by standing right below her. Her first form will take 6 hits to finish. Just be careful as you pick up the vase as no fish hit you in case you're low on health. On to Super Ursula, the final form. Immediately you'll notice the bubbles coming towards you. The direction of the bubbles is the direction the current is heading. You'll have to either work with the current or against, depending on which way the fish come towards you from left to right. Catch the fish in a bubble and launch them at Ursula's head. Try not to get too high or you'll take a hit. After 7 hits, you'll bring Ursula down and finish the Little Mermaid on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Great job, you've beaten the game. I'm the RetroKingPin, thanks for watching.